2020.
What a year.
What a year.
What a year.
Let's talk about it.
As always, the intro went swimmingly.
Yes.
So what are we talking about today?
You know, we used to do it so well.
We did.
And yet we
Yeah.
forget about it now every time.
Yeah.
We'll get it right the second time. It's
Yeah.
fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, we've got other podcasts we can fix. This one can just suck.
Yeah. Before we start, can I ask y'all a question?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I would be honored.
Okay, so y'all need to be super unbiased about this because this one is super important and it should be personality based, not just like on what's your favorite, you know?
Okay.
What kind of Starbucks drink would you be? Or like Dunkin' Donuts, whichever.
Well, Dunkin' is superior. And I would say
Dunkin'
that
is cheaper.
Dunkin' is cheaper. You get more coffee, more bang for your buck, which I'm
true.
all about. I love being thrifty, so I feel like just of the two options, I would go with Dunkin'. And I know you said not to pick our favorites, but I feel like my favorite just defines my personality. It is iced coffee.
Don't we drink the same thing?
I think so. It's iced coffee with caramel and almond milk. And it tastes
we drink
different.
the exact same thing.
Tastes different every single time I get it.
Time. I order the same thing, but it's always different.
But you go to Starbucks a lot.
I
I
do both.
never go to
I go to
Starbucks.
whichever one is quicker. I go to Starbucks because I like their chocolate croissants.
Ooh, they do have
Okay.
good.
And I also like their holiday drinks a lot. But Dunkin' is cheaper, and so like if I'm paying cash, I'll usually go to Dunkin'.
Yeah.
Lindsay, what about you?
Gosh. I mean, the thing about first of all, I like never go to Dunkin' because that's just, I don't know, I kind of forget it exists, so I've like never really
fair.
had coffee from Dunkin'. But like I feel like with Starbucks, like there's so many different drinks that you can get. Like the only ones that I really know of are the ones that I've ordered. So like I'm probably gonna have to go with specifically the iced caramel macchiato cloud, like the cloud macchiato that they have, because it's very like, it's kind of like light and fluffy on the top, but then as you go in, it's like real drink, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah, it's a little bit darker,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It really speaks to your personality.
Yeah, thank you.
You know?
Yep.
So, Andy,
I'd
what
say-
are you?
I don't know. My current order from Starbucks is the creme brulee latte iced and a chocolate croissant. But I would have to say I'm probably also more of a Dunkin' coffee. So
Yeah.
I honestly think I'm just like a hot coffee with Irish cream.
Okay.
Tea.
But not even from either of those, just from like a hotel, like continental breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just a hot coffee.
Yeah.
So, what are we talking
But
about this
anyways,
episode?
Yeah, so
Today we have a very, very special guest.
we do. This is going to be the first part of a two-parter. Again, I know you guys are loving these multiple part episodes that we're putting out because that's all we're putting out. But we are talking about kind of like the arts. And so like today we have our good friend Madison Mapes, and she's talking to us about acting and theater and kind of what she's done to kind of break into the industry. She's done some professional stuff. So it's going to be a lot of cool stuff there. So yeah, if you're a fellow theater kid like us, come take a listen because it's going to be some interesting stuff.
Definitely. We kind of just wanted to talk about the arts because, you know, now is such a weird time to be an artist. There's a lot of uncertainty going on, but there's also more creative freedom than ever. And so we kind of just wanted to talk to someone who is currently working as a professional and just see what it's like from that side, but also kind of just talk about the concept of being an artist in this day and age, especially if you're young or if you're just starting out, because it can be very scary. It can even be scarier when it doesn't really seem like there's any future almost, even though there definitely is. And in fact, I think that the arts community is more booming than ever. But yeah, this is just something that personally affects all of us. And, you know, art is so important to just human nature and general vitality. So it's definitely never going to go away. But it can be strange to be making art in this time.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Today we have our dear friend and also Karina and I's roommate in the studio today. Miss Maple, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Howdy ho there. My name is Madison Mapes. Yeah, no.
That's it.
I am a fellow thespian along with everyone else here, and I do musical theater, and I also work at a talent agency, so that's a little fun stuff about me.
You love to see it.
Yeah, I love to see it thriving.
So
Yes, ma'am.
today we're kind of like talking about being a professional in the art industry because it can be really hard to get started or like see art as like a real job kind of thing. So we just kind of wanted to have you on and share your experience.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes.
I think starting out, go ahead and tell us kind of how you got started, what you did to kind of like break into what you're doing now and stuff like that.
Ooh, yes. Well, first I found, I guess my first like professional musical theater job through Facebook, like through like auditions and stuff. And I guess like you got to keep the hunt going. But once I got my first job playing Cheryl in Evil Dead at Obsidian Theater in Houston, it kind of just like started opening new doors. And I guess partially like people always have the saying, it's like who you know. In a way it is like the networking like aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And then through that, I got to work at Main Street Theater for Youth doing plays during the day for like schools, and they like field trip them in and like question them in on that. Through doing that, like I did more community theater, and then that's how I met Sarah Preisler, and she represented me. And then she represented me for about like a year or so, and then I did a show with her, and then actually got on her team and then started working with her in the office, and I've been her assistant now for like a little bit over a year now. So it's been kind of exciting to also see the two sides of like being represented and being an actor. Well, it's like being in the office, like sitting across from her and seeing like as the agent and calling casting directors and like sitting in on the meetings and what other agents and everybody's like looking for. And I guess, like in the words of like Hannah Montana, you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That is really cool. I feel that probably gives you like a big like head up on everybody else, because you are able to like sit and like speak to these people who are casting and see what they want and stuff like that. That's really interesting. That's so cool.
Definitely. And like one of the main like several things I do like at my job is like I communicate with like our talent and everything. I believe we have like 230 people on the roster, so it's like messaging them people. Yes, and Lindsey here is on our roster.
I am on
she
the
is
roster.
a member of the Spark Talent
Yes.
Agency, and I get to edit audition videos. And now during COVID, it's changed a lot of stuff, because normally we have people like go into in-person auditions, but now like this podcast, like it's over Zoom and all that, and so we edit videos to be sent to casting directors if they film at home. So then seeing who books a job off of certain stuff and figuring out like what exactly I guess they're looking for in the headshots. And then you start to figure out who likes what, whether it's like headshot style, like filming setup. And I don't know, I guess it's all very interesting.
Yeah. I can only imagine how much things have changed since like everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
And like with the shutdown and everything, for a while, for like 4 months, the entire industry was pretty much shut down.
Yeah.
So I guess it was like kind of nice in a way to like have a break, but then it was also like, man, I need to make some money.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, it's also, I guess, on the plus side of it, like from COVID in a way, I guess, the light in the darkness is that with that, so many people who normally aren't able to travel for auditions or can't go out to LA are being able to like film in their audition and have Zoom meetings up until like production to have auditions for stuff. So they save more money, but they're also being able to see a lot more people that usually wouldn't be able to like get their foot out there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's going to continue like that after COVID?
I really do think so. And I think it'll save like a lot of people like time, like energy, money to do that. And I just think it's really awesome in that sense. And a lot of people have already stated that they want to like keep that trend going because they are being able to find some like diamonds in the rough, like people that like aren't based out in LA that like can do all these bigger jobs.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's all like the outreach and finding like more nice things. And I was like, nice. That works for me because I am in Texas and not able to go to LA or New York. Yeah. But I guess before COVID, I was in New York City auditioning for like
right.
Broadway shows and
Yeah,
all
I
that
remember that.
stuff. And I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks, but the first weekend was whenever everything started shutting down. And I was in a audition for like the Aladdin like national tour, and then they came in and they were like, "Hey, everybody go home. All auditions are canceled. COVID is insane.
Wow.
Sorry, goodbye." And then my agent, like Sarah, she like called me and was like, "Okay, you need to get out of here quick. Everything's shutting down." And then I guess like here in Texas, they were like, "The rodeo shut down." Whenever the rodeo shut down, like it's serious.
It's real.
remember that,
Texas doesn't shut down anything.
Yeah. Well, because someone at the rodeo like had COVID and still went, and they're like, "All right,
Yeah.
we're not doing this."
And became like a super spreader.
Oh,
Like,
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you left like a week and a half, or weren't you there for like 4 days?
Yeah, I was there for
remember that.
like 4 days, like pretty much a week. Like I was starting to get like in the swing. It was like, oh, this is pretty nice. And then whenever I got the call, like I had to change my ticket to fly out the next morning. And I was like, oh, dang it,
Jeez.
it's 2020. It's
Yeah.
gonna be my year. I was like,
Yeah.
going to New York
What
City.
year?
We all thought that, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And so then I was like, shoot. And then getting ready to like fly out in the morning, I was like, because I've never been to New York City either. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna like see the sights. And I was like, no, that didn't happen. But I like went to go get myself like some just like food at an Indian restaurant for dinner, and I was like walking the streets. No one like in New York City, like one of the
Dang, that
busiest
is-
cities. I was like, oh man, it was like the start of like one of those
Yeah, like
thriller
an
movies, like I Am
apocalypse.
Legend or
Like a
something.
zombie
Yeah.
apocalypse.
I
Like,
cannot
I am Will
imagine New
Smith.
York being
Yeah.
empty. That is insane.
Yeah, I was like the only one in the restaurant for like most of the time. There's like another couple that came in, but the waiter dude was like, yeah, you're like the only third customer we had all day. And
Oh my
we're
gosh.
usually like jam packed. And I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, all right.
I
sorry.
remember whenever you're at Flower Child before all this happened, and it was like that for a while too. For like 2 weeks, nobody
Yeah.
there.
And usually we had lines out the door, and
Yeah.
it was just like no one was coming anymore.
Ghost town.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's still full and it's popping, but
Yeah,
it probably
and-
shouldn't be.
Yeah.
People don't take it seriously anymore.
Yeah.
But, you know.
But anyways, so Mapes, it's required, or Madison, every time we interview someone, it is required of me to ask a stupid question.
All right.
This is by law. I do not choose to do this. I do not do this of my own accord. Emmy will fire me if I don't. So my question today is, if you were any kind of blanket, what would you be? Like what fabric and like what color? Like you could choose like quilted or like fleece or like wool, you know?
Ooh. That is a very good question indeed. I guess personally for myself, I would be like, what's it called? It's right at the tip of my tongue. It's like a quilt, but it's the
Flannel?
You're really thinking
thank
about
you.
my
Flannel.
Yeah,
Gosh,
yeah.
darn it. Yes. I feel like I would be kind of like a flannel quilt.
Flannel quilt.
Ooh,
Cozy.
I like
Yeah,
quilt.
cozy.
Very
All
log
right.
cabin vibe.
Yeah.
Kind of like rough, not like too incredibly soft, but just like nice.
Soft enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. What about y'all, Karina and Linz?
Well, the first thing that popped in my head was weighted blanket, so I think I'll just go with that.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's a good
Yeah.
one. I love my
Oh,
weighted
hell
blanket.
yeah.
I don't have
I have a
one.
weighted blanket. It changed my life.
It
But
changed
it's
should
my
going
get
on
one.
it's going on my Christmas list for sure.
Absolutely.
Lindsay's
Amazing.
taking notes.
life. I would definitely be like one of those like thinner quilts, like one that your grandma just she made herself, but it just kind of like stays hanging over the couch in the living room. But like when
no one actually uses it.
Kind of,
But
yeah.
but you would notice if it was gone.
Right. But like sometimes you'll use it, like if you're over at her house just vibing and you pull it off and it's still kind of like cool, you know, like the blanket is like cool and it feels very nice. Yeah. That's what I would be.
You know what I hate? I hate those blankets that have holes in them. Like the really wide knit ones that have holes.
Yeah,
and
what's
like,
the point?
you try and sleep with them. They're cold. They're not even comfortable.
Yeah. Or you get like, if you're
Sometimes they're
pulling it up at
itchy.
night, you get like your finger stuck in there and you're like,
Yeah.
ow. And like you wake up.
Yeah.
And half the time the material is like scratchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
Those are what we call aesthetic blankets. They are not functional.
Hard-hitting topics today.
All right.
Oh, hold on. I have my answer too. So whenever I was a kid, my grandma had this blanket. I'm talking about a specific blanket too. She had this blanket that she had on like a quilt holder, and it was this big, thick quilt that had the cover of the children's Bible on it, like quilted into it.
Okay. And that's what you would be.
And I think I would be that because every time I think about it, it makes me laugh.
All right, pop off. What is like advice that you would give to someone who's just starting out? Maybe not even necessarily in theater, but just like someone who is considering going into the arts.
Ooh. I guess just get out there. No, I don't know. That sounds too simple. It's
good advice, though.
It's like art's definitely like this is out there. It's like art's all around you. And like, I guess if you just like look, there's so many like outlets that you can do, whether it be like a community theater show, or I know that they have like paint nights at a lot of like community places, or like due to COVID, there's not too many outside things. It's like, hey, there's a sale at Hobby Lobby. Get some nice little arts and crafts. Like, I don't know. Like, it's so much fun, but there's so many people out there also like willing to make art and like wanting to make art with others. So if some people just like really want to reach out, and that's another like awesome thing in today's world, like with social media, just announce it. Be like, hey, I want to make some art. Like, you can make and like you'd be surprised by how many people like just want to like help too. Like whether they're your loved ones or just like strangers, just like, hey, I want to be a part of that too.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
That's good advice. You talked about like social media. I feel like especially after COVID, like most people are getting a start like being artists, just especially through, I feel like TikTok is like a huge thing, you know,
for sure.
Because I found so many artists personally of people who are like, hey, this is my first time like ever posting my art publicly, and it's like amazing. And then they get like such a big following from that. So I don't know. I think it's like super cool to see that it's become so accessible, you know.
Definitely. And I think that is awesome. And that is like a cool, like interesting way, like with TikTok, like whether it be like art or like singing, like someone that I know, he started just like singing on TikTok, doing like the little duet things.
Oh, yeah.
And now, like his TikTok has gotten so big that now he's able to like promote like his own like written songs, and he just released like his first album, and like he gets like brand deals and stuff like with his TikToks. But
crazy.
it is very interesting like how to market yourself now in this like new age of trying to get out there, or like to promote yourself, like with Instagram and everything, and followers and likes. Like I know sometimes whenever we get breakdowns for roles that come in, sometimes they specifically ask in like the fine details. They're like, this person must at least have like over 1,000 followers on Instagram. And it's like, oh shoot. I was like,
I don't even have that.
I was one night, I was talking to like Andy and Karina about it. I was like, I have like 800. I was like, I need to get 1,000. And so I was like, it's so weird, like trying to do all that stuff, but like how some things like that like do matter to some people. And I was like, all right, like I guess they can like bring in crowds of people to like watch their stuff, I suppose. But
which is funny because if you think about it, half the time if you have that many followers, most of them aren't active anyway, so they're not gonna see your stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And then there's like this new like business that's come from it. Like there are so many online things that you pay that like map out how to promote yourself.
Yes, that's such a thing.
Yeah, it shows like your followers, like how many are inactive, how many like aren't liking you, and it like makes charts and everything, and types of people to follow, like how you need to do this, and it's become like this algorithm like that you gotta like promote, because like I guess you are your own instrument, you are your own like business, so like self-promote that, but it's just, I don't know,
It's almost
crazy in
like
a way.
how like an everyday person is trying to be an influencer, but if everyone's trying to be an influencer, then no one's an
Yeah.
influencer.
And if everyone's super.
Yeah, no one is super. Thank you, Megamind.
But that's kind of how it is. Like a lot of people like are trying to like branch out, and that's the thing, like being an actress myself, like I'm trying to do that stuff, and it is like pretty hard. And that's the thing, like some people are like, oh yeah, you need to post like every 5 hours or something, or like you have to comment on every single person's photo so you're relevant. But I was like, that's
Yeah, but also you see the people who do post 5 times a day. What do you do? You're like, okay,
yeah, you see them,
chill
it's
out.
like, yeah. And then so it's like finding the happy medium
Yeah.
and like what people might like. I don't know, but it is definitely like interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, like social media has definitely like impacted the acting world now, especially in like film and TV.
Yeah, I even see now like people who started off on TikTok and like just kind of blew up and got a following. They're like now getting roles and stuff
Yeah.
in movies and
Yeah.
shows. And it's like there's kind of like controversy there because it's like, well, now you're passing up like real quote unquote actors because these people just have a lot of followers and you're probably going to get more engagement in your like production or whatever. But
Yeah, there's
know.
some aspects to that do make me a little angry because it's like,
Yeah.
I'm doing all this work
yeah,
and you just got a lot of followers on TikTok. Like, cool. But I mean, some of them I feel
yeah, and it's not to say that they don't have talent
Yeah,
or
for
anything,
sure.
but
Yeah.
it's just kind of so different than the norm. you
Yeah.
know?
kind of like Vine in a way with what's it called, like the Logan brothers.
Yeah,
yeah, like there's some people that it's like, okay,
Some people don't
we
deserve
probably
it.
shouldn't have given them
Buddy.
much platform, but
too much power.
too late now.
But I guess another thing aside from social media, like being a big like influencing thing, one of the bigger things though is training. Like a lot of people look for like training. Like whenever people come into our agency and like reviewing people's resumes, like that's one of the first things that like Sarah has me look at and like look up is like who are they training with, how long have they trained, like how much, like if you have like a few classes but they want to see like a lot but for like many different aspects, will there be like auditioning for camera, like self-tape stuff, like dramatic scene work, like comedy, improv, and like they also look at like who teaches you, like people look for like casting directors to take classes from, and then also if you do take classes from casting directors and like you get submitted for roles, and like they taught like you get like a little star or something kind of like by your name. It's like, oh, I've seen them, and like it puts a thing like in their brain, so it kind of like does give you a leg up, like working with them and taking classes, and other people they see that too and like, oh, they've worked with so and so, like I can ask them as like a reference and see like how they will do in my like TV show or movie. But training, that's a really big like hard hitter that people don't really
Yeah, that's
like,
so
think
interesting.
of.
I've never
Yeah.
actually like realized that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
There's even a lot of classes like at Lone Star you can take, just like, or even any community theaters. So if you are looking to get started, just go take an acting class. Just get your foot in the door,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah, and another thing that is also kind of like been nice coming out of COVID is like all the Zoom classes.
Yeah.
Like so many casting directors, they're like, oh, or other like big acting coaches, they're like, shoot, like I can't have these people like face to face. So then they do Zoom, and then they like announced it, and then so many people like across the United States like, oh, I can take a class with like all these like bigwig people.
Yeah.
And
I think even
yeah.
there was a Zoom, I didn't get to participate, unfortunately, but we had a few like Zoom meetings. I remember one of our friends posted like on her story, she was like in a Zoom call with like Lin-Manuel Miranda, and just because he had this like open source
yeah.
thing. And just the fact that like now even those big, it seems like they're untouchable names are so starved for like making stuff that now they're just like, okay, I'm just going to share my craft, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that like consumption of media has changed so much too. Like I remember listening to my brother and me podcast that I like, and they tend to do like live shows and things like that, but they're doing an online live show on Zoom that you pay like $5 for a ticket and then it's a live show. And I'm doing the show Pippin right now, and but we're doing it digitally. So like you buy tickets and then it streams online. And I think it's really cool to see how specifically theater has overcome and adapted to that sort of thing.
Most definitely. I think it's awesome. And like, yeah, with like the streaming of shows and because theater's still like, even Broadway is still like not projected to come back until like mid next year.
Yeah.
So it's like having to find all the resources and like having all those Zoom things and like everybody is like literally like starving artists. Like let us like financially and just like craving to do it.
It's like, please let us entertain you. This is what my life is. I don't know what else to do.
I know. When we had the 24-hour play festival at school, I was, and after we did it, everything was like safe and socially distanced stuff. But afterwards, I was like, man, I just miss theater so much. Like just being in the space again, like working with other actors. It's just like that. There's some things that like you can't do over Zoom, and there's some things you can. But like being just in the space, I'm just very excited for that aspect to be back.
It's such a like a refreshing experience.
Yeah.
It's a weird experience, I think.
It is, yeah.
If you've ever been an actor in theater, you understand like it's like when you're doing it, it's tiring. And I know a lot of the time like you're in a show and you're like, oh God, I can't wait for this to be done. But at the same time, like as soon as it's done, you're like, well, I don't know what to do with my life now. Like I miss everybody. But
it's a post-show depression that's been lasting since March.
Yeah, it's been.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, I guess I'm like kind of lucky right now because for those of you who don't know, I was like, y'all know. I was like, I am in a production of Peter Pan, playing Peter Pan, and it's awesome because they're allowing, since it is such a big space, they are letting people like come in and like socially distance and letting people like who do live together like sit in like part of like one row. So it's been like nice to like be back on stage and like work with people, and then to do like a challenging thing like fly. It'll be nice.
I know. Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
Gonna be
so excited to see it.
For those of you in the area, tickets are almost sold out, but they are on stageright.org.
Yep. Get that plug.
Yeah, I gotta plug that in there real quick.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of plugs, do you want to plug your Instagram real quick?
Yeah.
Ooh, yes. My Instagram is at MDMAP3, the number 3, S. Give me a follow.
Yes, get her to 1,000.
Give me 10,000
Yeah,
so
get
I
her
can
10,000.
get some more auditions. I'm just kidding.
Just kidding, but
Yeah,
like not
I was
really.
like, kidding, but nah, not really.
JK.
Unless.
Yeah, I was like, but one of the things that they've been preparing us for the show is that like doing theater and like being used to having like full like theater, like jam-packed, like almost full capacity. And then to now like go back and like we opened December 4th and to just be ready to have it be like less than half capacity. And so then they were like, watch out like for the energy because the energy's not going to be the same because normally it's like lively and there's so many people. But you're like, and don't feel like you're not like overdoing it or underdoing it. Like you just got to like give your best still because it is going to feel off. And like people might laugh, but you might not like, it might be like very muffled or something because like everyone's gonna be wearing their masks. Like I don't like, it's other things like that but having like mentally like prepare myself for in a way. But
I feel like almost it's the term entertainer is like more crucial than ever because, you know, this is probably some people's first time seeing a show in like a year or something, you know? And so to be that person who has to be like, okay, let's make this a memorable experience for them, you know, like, so there's like some pressure on artists, you know?
yeah. And that's the thing, with like the kind of like some people like are really elderly too, and some people are like hesitant, but then like people are also like, yeah, like you said, wanting to be entertained. So a lot of like the season ticket holders are like, we want to come see the show like so bad, and they're like getting everything like ready to, and they're like preparing it, but like some people like are older and like, yes, it's gonna be like social distance, but they're still like even scared and like wanting to like go out there and see theater, because that's the thing, like people miss it.
Yes.
Nothing else takes
We
the
all
chance
do.
of like going to see a live show. And I totally get what you're talking about with like the energy thing too, because for Pippin, we don't have an audience at all. We're filming it. And we started filming like 2 days ago, and that experience has been so weird. It's been fun, but like trying to do a live show without an audience is just so odd. And like trying to maintain that energy, you know?
So, but I have a question. Do you get to keep the recording after you're done? Or is it just going to be like,
I don't think so. I think that the directors get to keep a copy of it,
okay,
but I'm not sure because it's still going through MTI, and
right.
like the streaming service that we have is through MTI, and so it's like
Oh, wow. Okay.
even the way that it's being streamed is super like watched over. We have an MTI representative with every single live streaming of it. And it only streams at a certain time. If you watch it, like if you join late, like you join late, you can't start from the beginning.
Okay, wow.
So it's kind of similar to live theater in that way. They have to submit it like 3 days before to get clearance for it and everything. And so it's also been wild because like, I mean, of course you're careful with like lines in a normal show, but like when you have an MTI representative watching it,
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't even think
it's
about
so
that.
Yeah,
nerve-wracking.
that is insane.
Oh dang. Yeah, and like I didn't know, because that's the thing, like with like me doing like live, like I knew about the streaming, like people doing like streaming of shows, but I didn't know like how it worked. And I guess that's crazy how MTI now has like their own streaming, I guess, like platform for it
Yeah.
now. And
Yeah.
it makes sense to have like people be there, but it was like, man, like
It's kind of scary.
It
is
is.
kinda scary.
I was
It's wild.
curious
We
because
have like digital
intimidating.
playbills and everything. It's
Wow.
wild.
I know that like even recording in theater is such a big problem and such a big taboo. So I was just wondering, like, you being firsthand experience with it, because I know a lot of shows are being live streamed, but I was just kind of curious of behind the scenes, you know, what they're doing to like, I guess, preserve
It's
the
wild.
integrity.
Like we also don't run the full show like at once. We like split it up into chunks, and like we recorded a bunch of stuff out of order last night, which is super weird for like flow of the show, but it's been cool. It's been a cool experience.
very interesting.
Sorry, not to interview me, but
I know.
You're good. I was like, I think it's cool, because I was like, I haven't heard like that
it's been wild.
part of it. Yeah, I was like of the streaming.
Yeah, it's cool to see the different ways that like shows are being done. Like with Peter Pan, like you're still doing it live, but you have like the social
Yeah.
distancing, and then other places are streaming services and like that sort of thing.
And it's like crazy too, like with like the masks and like the rehearsing with masks and like how physically like demanding like shows are and stuff. And then we also have a woman in our cast who is also like hard of hearing, so we have to have like these plastic masks, like in a way, because other than that, like she can't know what's going on stage, like having like a deaf member in the cast, and like having to also like work around that as an obstacle along with COVID, and like wearing the masks and like other aspects too. Like we picked a really rough show to do during COVID.
Yeah.
But like with the flying stuff, like because of like everything's timed out, like we only get the flying equipment like to work with it like 2-3 days before opening.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and because of that, and because of like COVID regulations, and apparently they like tour with the flying equipment, the people, like you can't have any extra people, like we can't even have crew members like working on the set, like in the scene shop. They're like, it only can be the people flying and the people operating the fly machine. And then it's just, I don't know, crazy, like the spacing and like doing everything like short-winded, but like they're like the people teaching everything will be like socially distanced from us. And I don't know, like a lot of the rules are very like set in stone, and it's like even more like the stakes being raised, like with flying and then like layering everything
The
else
stakes
up on
being
top of
raised,
it. Literally,
and Mapes being raised.
myself
Mapes
being raised like 30 feet in the air. It's been great. No,
I'm sorry.
no,
Wow.
you're good.
So you can't even have the people teaching how to use it near it?
No, like I think they can like kind of, but they're probably like wearing gloves. I don't know, like
That's insane.
because they had a Zoom meeting like with a few of us, but they're like, yeah, and the parents of like the kids, like the Michael, Wendy, and John, like their parents are not allowed to be there because it's like no extra bodies at all. Wow. So the parents are kind of nervous about that. They're like, my child is gonna be like
Up in the air.
like, if an emergency happens, we can't be there, and we're like, we're sorry, like, and that's the other like scary stuff like on their end. But
I guess that brings up a good point of like COVID and the back part of theater. Like things could become more dangerous because you have to take precautions, but you also have a show to put on.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, the show must go on.
I know.
But
now
at what
more than
cost?
ever.
No, yeah, definitely. But it has been like definitely different, I guess.
God, it sure does remind me though, just like how much I love artists because like they will do anything
For their
to
craft.
keep practicing their craft and to do their work. Because like, oh my gosh, it's so much harder right now, but people are still putting out art, still doing all this stuff. And like, honestly, I think COVID has been, I'm not going to say great for artists, but like,
I mean, if you think about it,
It's
the
been-
Renaissance came after the plague, right?
Yeah.
So
I was like I haven't seen that a lot, but like it is like kind of true in a way, like with all the like new art or just like how much more like accessible it is to everybody.
Yeah.
I just think that's fair enough.
Yeah. I think seeing how everything has turned
Yeah.
out is so cool because we have been forced to adapt and to come up with new and creative ways to get our art out there and to be able to continue practicing, and probably more so than a lot of other like sorts of industries. And throughout quarantine, art has become something especially like important because everybody's absorbing media now, because what were people doing while we were in the depth of quarantine? They were watching Netflix and they were doing
you're
all
sitting
stuff
home
like
watching
that.
Netflix and playing video games and all that stuff.
Yeah.
things made by artists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I think like especially now, like the demand for artists in those types of industries has gone up as well. And I think honestly, like, yeah, COVID is bad, but honestly, like it's a good time to be an artist, I think.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
I remember even talking to my parents, which, everyone has like, when you're an
Everyone
artist,
has
your
parents.
parents, they're like, yeah, everyone has parents. That's true.
You're like, no, I promise I'll make money. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But even they were telling me, they were like, actually now everyone is looking for storytellers and everyone is looking for something new and unconventional. And they were like, so you going into the arts right now is probably the best time you could ever go into the arts because that's exactly what everyone wants right now. Something refreshing, something new,
Yeah.
And I
I mean,
think,
that's exactly why, like, like my parents were like, all right, we're going to get you a mic and you go ahead, like go do like your voice acting thing, whatever you do, go make some weird voices into the mic. Cause like now is the time to do it,
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think it's safe for us all to say that like we all throughout this quarantine process have all like started working on a new form of art. Like Lindsey, you started working on your voice acting. You got signed to an agency. Karina, I always see you like drawing and stuff. And I cosplay on TikTok now, which is like
yeah.
the wildest thing.
Yeah, it's been super
And I
crazy.
just think that's super cool.
But it really has been like throughout, like all the bad, like there really has been some like major strides towards like career and like new hobbies and stuff like that among all of us. And I think that is honestly like so cool.
Yeah. And if anyone here is listening and they're considering, you don't have to be an artist to create art.
Yeah.
The only thing you need to do is just create art, Doesn't matter where you start, just start, But everyone can do it. Everyone has the capacity.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I have one more stupid question because I started thinking of it when we were talking about this. Actually, I think I've asked this question before.
Lay
But
it
I'll
on
ask it
us.
to Mapes. What social media do you think best represents your personality?
Ooh. That is a very good question.
That is a good question.
I would have to say Twitter. I was gonna say like
Twitter too.
Instagram, but I was like defense. I was like, I just like posted a lot of memes, but I was like, I suppose like Twitter is just the most like generic one. Like,
I mean, I would say Twitter too, I think.
yeah,
I think anyone with ADHD says Twitter.
like the refresh, it's like the retweet, like the times. I don't know.
It's just like hot takes and
Yeah, you're just like going to like the comment section of a hot tweet. It's like normally like the comment section is sometimes like funnier
Yes.
than the actual
Yeah.
big tweet too, or like finding like the nice little like gem token, just like memes.
Yeah,
just,
they're
like, that are-
always
and
in
they're,
the
like,
replies.
Yes, and then you save them to your
Have a whole
Yep.
folder of
post on
them.
your Finsta.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a nice little
You steal the memes from Twitter and post them on
quality
Insta.
content.
Yep.
I like it.
I would say mine, even though it's dead, would have to be like Vine.
Oh, I thought you were going to
It's-
say MySpace.
Oh, MySpace? No, because it's like 6 seconds long for each video, and then you're on to the next topic. And I feel like that really reflects the ADHD experience.
Yeah.
You know, that makes sense.
It reflects the Andy experience too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watching Vine is what it's like talking to me.
Yeah.
What about you, Linz?
Honestly, not to be that guy, but the first one that came to mind was Tumblr.
You know, that was on my list as
Yeah.
well.
Oh gosh.
Like everybody's there. We're all sad and hyperfixating on something, and
Yeah.
so
Everybody's
I was
there,
like,
yet nobody is
yeah,
there.
literally.
Yeah, it's so true.
Nobody on Tumblr is like a real person.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Especially
we're all
me.
just chilling. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. I mean,
But yeah.
if I have to not repeat one like Mapes, I would say TikTok is my second.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just because she's
Yeah.
famous on TikTok.
It's not.
I feel like for Karina, that's also pretty accurate because like there's some TikToks that are just like short and that sounds so mean. I don't mean it
No,
like
go
that.
on. Go
That are
on.
just like that are just like short and stupid and like don't make much sense. And then there's also other ones that are actually like really well thought out and like meaningful. Like I think of like your main account, the one you posted about like I Speak that got super big.
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah.
also like the other ones you've posted that are just us going cake ball.
Yep. Yeah, that's, yeah.
The duality.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Karina.
The duality of me.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff. All right. Well, any
Yeah.
closing thoughts?
Ooh.
Do you have any advice for anybody looking to go into the industry?
I guess like piggybacking off of like Karina, like anybody like wants to like make art or go into it, I guess, from the cinematic masterpiece Ratatouille.
Anyone can cook.
Yeah, the words of Chef Gusteau, like anyone can cook, like anyone can make art. Like
Yeah.
and cooking I guess is also an art form too. A lot of people are cooking as well. Okay, you know what? I'm just like going on to
No,
the
it's good.
tangent.
It's good.
But yes. I was like just
Cooking is
go out there. Yeah, go out there. And that's the thing, like there's art in everything. It's like any little thing that you might enjoy or like find a little hobby in, or like art in nature. Like, okay,
Yeah,
I can
there's
just
art.
go on.
Science is
There's,
art,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Everything. So much.
Yep. Just find something you're passionate
I
about.
can't stop laughing at the fact that you talked about Ratatouille.
Sorry,
Anyone
I had to,
can
like,
cook.
yeah.
That's-
Listen, hey,
close
I don't know if you guys have seen the Ratatouille musical on TikTok,
Oh
but
my
Yes.
gosh,
On
that's
TikTok?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's insane. I want to choreograph something for it and like
people-
submit it because
if-
I love it.
If you don't know what we're talking about, basically the collective people of TikTok have been writing a musical for the
Ratatouille.
movie Ratatouille. And so every time you're on TikTok, you scroll, occasionally you'll
pretty
see like
good,
a new
too.
song.
Yeah.
I saw one that was like the perspective of Remy's dad. It was
Yeah.
amazing. And the girl had the most like talented voice. Like it was so
there's
yeah,
and
no,
it's like
people are
even
killing
even
it.
stuff like that.
it's all aspects of theater too. Like there's people who do like lighting design and they're like, these are the gels that I pulled
Yeah,
like based on this
yes.
song, and then
And like the playbill art too.
Yeah.
Like it's
Like,
all
cool
like
set
aspects.
designs.
like everybody's
Yeah.
collaborating to make like
Exactly.
a Ratatouille musical.
The show must go on.
My favorite though is the ones that were like the stage hands for the Ratatouille musical, and it's just them picking up like a couch and like moving it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Well.
it's so good. But anyways, thank you so much for letting us interview you, Maple. It's been very enjoyable.
thank you, Mapes.
Yes, 'tis been a pleasure. I've enjoyed this very much.
Heck yeah.
We're glad.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to plug before you leave?
No, not really to plug, but yeah, and I guess last other little thing is like so many people, and like even before quarantine, people really don't think how big artists like have impact on everybody's lives, and it's been there from like the beginning, and that's what everybody comes home to, just like watch TV and everything, just like it's just another way to escape, and so many people like overlook that, and they're just like, it's art, but they all consume it, and they all like
So true.
so art is everywhere.
Art is
And
I love
everything.
that.
I love
Yeah.
that too. All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you
us.
so
Thank
much.
you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Thank you so much to Miss Madison Mapes for letting us interview her. Love her. She's a queen. Go see Peter Pan.
Go follow her Instagram.
Um,
Get her to 1,000 so she can
Follow
get more
her
jobs.
Instagram. Yes. Speaking of Instagrams, you can follow Lone Star Arts at LSC-M Arts. Is that what it is?
Yes.
LSC-M Arts on Instagram, as well as Lone Star College Montgomery Visual and Performing Arts on YouTube and Facebook, where you can find the podcast and a link to the podcast. So make sure to check those out. Give us a follow if you enjoy what you are hearing. Um, and yeah, join us next week as we interview president of our college, Dr. Riley. That one's going to be super cool.
Heck yeah.
Very
Any
excited.
closing thoughts, y'all?
Drink some water.
Yep. Stay healthy. Wear a mask. Social distance.
Wash your
It
hands.
goes over your nose.
It
Goes
goes
over your nose.
over your nose.
But
Wear the mask over your nose.
don't forget, always make art.
Always make art.
Always make art.
Make some art.
Even if you're not an artist.
Do some.
Like if you're just like a lawyer or something. Just
Yeah.
like sit down and paint something. You
Draw
know?
a circle
Yeah.
and
And
see where it
there's
goes from there.
such
Follow
a-
along with the Bob Ross video, you know?
Yeah, there's such a misconception too that you have to be like great at something
You
to
do not.
enjoy it. Like you don't even have to be like great at it. Just do it for the love of it. Do it
Yeah.
for fun, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Okay, 3-part harmony on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Bye.